All right, now we are ready to move to Chapter 2 and do some additional exercises from Chapter 2. Again, I would remind you there are examples inside each section. Please review them. And also the self-check exercises at the end of each section. And they will help you understand the material in addition to the exercises we're going to do here on the DVD. So let's look at the exercises we're going to do in this chapter 2. As you can see, all the sections we cover, sections 2.1 all the way to 2.7. There are several problems we're going to do. Some of these problems would be pure and numerical. Some of them would be application. And again, the idea is to help you understand the material better. So let's move to section 2.1, exercise number 32. Section 2.1, number 32. Number 32 says, given the equation 2x plus 3y equal 4, answer the following questions. Is the slope of the line described by this equation positive or negative? In order to find the slope, we have to put this equation in this format. Y equal to, let's say, mx plus b. Once we have it in this format, as you recall, m would show the slope of the line, and b would show the y-intercept. Now, as you can see, this equation is not in this format. In other words, we have to solve this one for y. So, you would have 3y equal minus 2x plus 4. Divide everything by the coefficient of y. Therefore, y would be equal to minus 2/3 x plus 4/3. Now, as you can see, this is the same format as the general form for equation of a line. Again, clearly you see the slope, which is the coefficient of x here. The coefficient of x is negative, right? Minus 2/3. Therefore, that would answer the first question that says, is the slope of the line described by this equation positive or negative? The answer is, it is negative. So, A, negative. B says, as x increases in value, does y increase or decrease? B, as x goes up, every time x goes up by 1 unit, y will go down because the coefficient of x, or the slope, is negative. As a matter of fact, every time x goes up by 1 unit, y will go down by 2/3 of the unit. That would be handy to answer C, because C says if x decreases by 2 units, what is the corresponding change in y? If x decreases by 2 units, that means y will go up. Since we are talking about decrease of x, we show it as negative 2, multiply by the slope. So negative 2 times negative 2/3 equal to positive 4/3. So y will go up by 4/3. That's a positive change. That is the first problem. Let's look at another problem. Look at problem number 36. In the instruction, by the way, we have to read the instruction every time. It says in exercises 33 and 34, well, we don't have to do that. We don't have to worry about that. That only applies to 33 and 34. 36 says if the line passes through points A and 1, that's the coordinates of one point. Let's say point A. Point A has the coordinates of A and 1, and another point, point B, with the coordinates of 5 and 8, and it is parallel to a line passing through another point, point A prime, let's say, with a coefficient of with the coordinates of 4 and 9, and another point B prime with a coefficient of A plus 2 and 1. What is the value of A? Very interesting problem. It's not as straightforward as other problem, but it would be interesting. First, the formula for calculating the slope, regardless of whether we are talking about line, let's call this line 1, and this one line 2. The slope is m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by h2 minus h1. So if we are talking about the first line, then we call this m1, the slope for it m1, would be equal to y2 is 8. y1 is 1. So it would be 8 minus 1 divided by h2 minus h1. h2 is 5, h1 is a. So it would be 5 minus a. This is the slope m1, the slope of the first line. The slope of the second line, let's call it m2, is equal to, again, using the same formula you have here, is y2 minus y1. In this case, y2 is 1, y1 is 9. So it's 1 minus 9 divided by h2 minus h1, which is a plus 2 minus 4. I can simplify this and write this m2 as minus 8 divided by a minus 2. Since the problem tells you, and of course here 8 minus 1 is 7. Since the problem says the two line 1 and line 2 are parallel, that means the slope are equal. So m1 is equal to m2. So that would mean that 7 divided by 5 minus a is equal to minus 8 divided by a minus 2. Now we do a cross multiplication. We get 7 times a minus 2 equal to minus 8 times 5 minus a. So this would be 7a minus 14 equal to minus 40 plus 8a. Take a's to one side. It would basically be 8a minus 7a equal to 40 minus 14. Therefore, a would be equal to 40 minus 14 is 26, I believe. A is equal to 26.